Saucy, good morning. My name's Pam Griffin-Hody. I'm a lay leader and my pronouns are she and her. And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the Universalist Unitarian Community of Halifax. Our minister, the Reverend Ben Robbins, in common with most UU ministers, has the summers off to study and reflect and of course have his vacation. From now until August 31st, our services will be diverse and brought to you by many people, coordinated by the worship committee. Today, 2 members of that committee are bringing you Sunday service, myself and Mary Lou McDonald. We are people of many paths who are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. We are diverse in faith, ethnicity, history, and spirituality, but are aligned in our desire to make a difference for the good. We have radical roots and a history as self-motivated spiritual people. We think for ourselves, and we recognize that life experience is the strongest influence on our beliefs. If you are new here, we welcome you. If we haven't seen you for a while, welcome back. If you are new or feeling new, you can introduce yourself to us. Now, if you want, someone will bring the mic, or later over coffee. If you would like to be on our email distribution list, please leave your name and email address in the book in the ballroom, and just in the back there. And I draw you to the announcements in the order of service. And I would like to highlight the second announcement. When we were looking for a volunteer to take over the Pride Parade, back whenever the deadline was in March, nobody stepped forward. Irene Barros-Johnson decided that that was not acceptable. She talked them into permitting us to walk. Most people that were doing the Pride Parade in recent years cannot walk, however, Irene included, but she wants us to be there. She feels it's important to be there, and for those of you who do not know, the Unitarian Church in Canada we're marrying people before it was legal. I think back to 1974. Oh, Irene is here. I looked and Irene wasn't here. That's why I'm making your announcement for you, Irene. So I'll just carry on, shall I? This particular church permitted the Halifax Gay Alliance to meet here rent-free starting in October 1974. I think it was. 72. Sorry, Irene. And for us to not even be at Pride because we can't find people that can walk is sad. I agree. So Irene is coordinating, so you can contact her, and she's right there. Wave, Irene, so you can talk to her today as well. Molly?
What is the date for the Pride Parade?
It's July 19th,
Saturday, July 19th.
Okay.
And you meet at noon somewhere near, I was going to say QE, which doesn't exist anymore, but on that street where I guess the new high school is there. Yeah.
Right,
Cogswell and around that area.
It's all in the newsletter.
Yes, it's all in the newsletter. Thanks, Ada. Somebody from the climate team should have our land acknowledgement today. And following that, Mary Lou will have our chalice lighting. So I'm going to tuck in the short people thing.
We don't all need an extra stool. We acknowledge that we are meeting here on the ancestral unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. For thousands of years, they have lived here, interacting successfully with the land, the wildlife, and the seas around us. When Europeans arrived over 400 years ago, they were welcomed and shown how to exist here peacefully too. But that wasn't the European way. Today we acknowledge the mistreatments of the traditional peoples of Mi'kma'ki by European settlers that has continued until very recent times. Today we are gradually recognizing the value of a positive relationship with the indigenous people. We are realizing that we all live on this land together and must learn to survive here. So we need the lessons we can learn from those who have been here for thousands of years. Even our provincial government is learning this. They are giving the Unamaki Institute of Natural Resources in Cape Breton $893,000 to fund Mi'kmaq-led climate change adaptation work. This is part of Nova Scotia's climate change plan called Our Climate, Our Future, Nova Scotia's Climate Change Plan for Clean Growth. UINR's approaches to addressing climate change are rooted in Mi'kmaq knowledge, according to the executive director of their institute, Lisa Young. From their press release, they will use the funding to hire a Mi'kmaq climate change coordinator and a project assistant, develop educational materials in Mi'kmaq and English, founded on Mi'kmaq language and knowledge, and establish a climate change monitoring program using culturally relevant indicators. They will also work to advance community-identified climate action priorities for the 5 Mi'kmaq communities of Cape Breton: Eskazoni, Membertou, Potlatek, Wagmattuk, and Wakogmek. Chief Terry Paul, CEO of the Membertou First Nation, has commented on this. Climate change is one of the greatest challenges facing our communities, and it requires solutions that are grounded in who we are as Mi'kmaq people. This investment supports our ability to lead with our knowledge, our values, and our vision for the future. I commend the Unamaki Institute of Natural Resources for continuing to bring our communities together to take action for the land, the water, and the next generations. And I thank the Nova Scotia government for recognizing the importance of funding the work of the Mi'kmaq, particularly in this area of climate research. It's imperative that we take advantage of all sources of wisdom to combat this crisis.
We neglected to organize the chalice lighting in advance, but I will read the words and hope that Pam gets it lit. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths. And Pam has a summary introduction.
Here in Nova Scotia, we cherish our summers. As I was looking out socks and sneakers and long pants this morning. They are beautiful, but very short. But English-speaking peoples have always cherished the summer, and the oldest song in English, dating from at least the 11th century, is all about summer. So here from the top hits of 1260, summer is Cumin In. Riley, that's the YouTube link that I sent you. There are hundreds of these to choose from, by the way, on YouTube, of this song. So even if you don't understand Middle English, you can hear the joy. But for those of us who don't understand Middle English as spoken in Wessex, whose dialect was not the winner in the evolution to early modern English, let me offer you a translation which I hope gives you as much joy as it did me when I read it. Summer has arrived, loudly sing cuckoo. The seed is growing, and the meadow is blooming, and the wood is coming into leaf now, sing cuckoo. The ewe is bleating after her lamb. The cow is lowing after her calf. The bullock is prancing. The billy goat farting. Sing merrily, cuckoo. This morning's service will be a taste of our summer services, which will celebrate summer while exploring various themes, poetry, social justice, spirituality, and music. And our opening hymn is 65, The Sweet June Days, and the words are on the screen. And I never knew that tune belonged to anything but O Little Town of Bethlehem. So of the four readings this morning exploring the summer's themes, this poem by Walt Whitman, written nearly 165 years ago at the outset of war, could have been written yesterday. Beat, beat, drums, blow, bugles, blow. Through the windows, through doors, burst like a ruthless force into the solemn church and scatter the congregation into the school where the scholar is studying. Leave not the bridegroom quiet. No happiness must he have now with his bride, nor the peaceful farmer any peace, plowing his field or gathering his grain. So fierce you were and pound you drums, so shrill you bugles blow. Beat, beat drums, blow, bugles blow. Over the traffic of cities, over the rumble of wheels in the streets. Are beds prepared for sleepers at night in the houses? No sleepers must sleep in those beds. No bargainers bargain by day, no brokers or speculators. Would they continue? Would the talkers be talking? Would the singer attempt to sing? Would the lawyer rise in the court to state his case before the judge? Then rattle quicker, heavier drums, you bugles, wilder blow. Beat, beat, drums, blow, bugles, blow. Make no parley, stop for no expostulation. Mind not the timid, mind not the weeper or prayer. Mind not the old man beseeching the young man. Let not the child's voice be heard, nor the mother's entreaties. Make even the trestles to shake the dead where they lie, waiting the hearses. So strong you thump, O terrible drums, so loud you bugles blow. Now we will take the time to recognize our collective and individual joys, sorrows, and complex truths. We bring our hearts into the sacred space of community, and we open them up to each other, for each other, so that those of us who carry pain might be comforted by the presence of a loving community, so that those of us who are happy and well might share our joy and see it multiply in others. And so those of us who carry complex truths might find a welcoming space to process and make meaning of all that life brings. So if you have a story, a joy, sorrow, or complex truth on your heart that needs to be spoken in community, we invite you to share. And we invite you to drop a stone to mark your story and remind you that you are not alone. And I'll bring the mic around. It's important to speak into the mic if you can't come up, because the people on Zoom need to be able to hear you.
It needs to be turned on.
I'm turning it on. I just remembered. Except it's not on. It's not going on. Oh, it's on now. No, yellow light. No, now it says yellow. It was already on.
Oh, what?
Confused
Oh, yeah,
me.
no, we're good.
Even with a sign here, this mic lives to vex me.
I'll share a joy. My parents are here. This is Katie and Brian, and they drove all the way from Cornwall, Ontario for this service, which is great, and to visit their grandkids. And my son is going to be turning 5 this week, so that's a big joy. And they're here for it, so it's nice.
And I have one of those complex joys and sorrows. Our son, who's been living in Montreal for a few years, and before that he was in Spain, they're going back to Spain. So they'll be leaving Canada at the middle of August. In the meantime, they still come down here to Nova Scotia for their summer vacation and their property here. This year they can't come at the beginning of July but they had registered their 11-year-old son in sailing classes here. So guess who gets to have our grandson for 2 weeks, just us and him. So that'll be, hopefully, lots of fun. And then they'll be coming, the rest of the family will come later in July. So we're not sure how many of the Sundays in the next little while we'll actually be here for, but I did want to share that joy. Oh, they're mostly big.
Hi, I have a joy to report. My second great-grandson from different parents has arrived and is now among the living. I am sorry I have forgotten his name, but if you don't mind, since he is musical already, and my favorite composer is Johann Sebastian Bach, I, for the time being, will name him Johann Sebastian.
I'll put a stone in for Johann Sebastian, and we all wait with anticipation to find out what his name will be. Is there anyone on Zoom, Riley?
Just me.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks to all my friends, I managed to have a birthday last week, and I'm still here. And at my age, that's a triumph.
You can go. It's your turn. You're going to talk about the summer,
Oh, okay.
and I'll fill in the gaps because I forgot I was supposed to do part of it. Sometimes in the summer we wing it.
Today is amateur hour. I thought we were doing the hymn next.
No, you wanted to put summer promo after Joyce
Okay.
Sorrell's Complex Truths.
Okay,
And then you have your reading, and then we have him.
I've got this off. Pam's extra height.
Oh, sorry.
Well, who knows, it may work. I have a different view entirely. Over the years, summer Sunday services have taken many forms. In the mid-1970s, when I moved to Halifax, we just closed for the summer. Then we moved to being open for coffee and general conversation in the ballroom. Then we moved to coffee and more structured conversation in circles in here. Then we came to a mix of more structured discussions and occasional regular styled services. This summer we'll continue with the latter structure, moving towards more use of the lectern and less frequent reorganization of the seating. But the presenters will make their own decisions about format. What will vary throughout the summer is the service themes. We will have poetry, music, social justice, ecology, spirituality, and mixtures of all of them. starting with poetry. Google the word, and up comes a list of the 100 most famous poems. None of them are my favorites, and probably not yours. I realized that my personal taste was formed long ago, and my collection of poetry publications seems to end about 1970. Your response to poetry will differ from mine and from others in this room. Despite our reputation for rationality, Unitarians are not averse to poetry, which often expresses profound spiritual experience. The lyrics to our hymns are all poems. We just sang one poem now. We use poetry all the time in our services, and the reading section of our hymnal includes poetry by May Sarton, Mary Oliver, E. Cummings, and other well-known poets. Many ministers are also poets. Be sure to come and hear our two very different presenters on the subject of poetry. I offer you one brief example from our own poet, the late Michael Seary. It is titled Born to Wonder. A light against darkness, that's what we are, you and me. Like sparks from the farthest star or the flame from a candle. We are a light that flickers and glints, defying the dark for a while. I think now we have hymn number 66. Stand or sit as it pleases you.
Community is made possible by the offering of our individual skills, commitments, and gifts. The truth is that we need each other and money to survive, and yet nobody's worth and dignity is any way measured by the amount of money that they have or don't have to give. So during the offering, we invite you to offer what you can, if you can, to support this sanctuary of progressive spirituality. Today, any undesignated money in our collection bowls will go to the operation of our wonderful community. And if you don't carry cash but you feel to give something today, easy peasy, e-transfer to treasurer@uuch.ca. And, I should have asked you just to play something random while we're passing the plate. Thanks, Tristan. And I have a reading on spirituality by Peter Morales, who is a former president of the Unitarian Universalist Association in the United States. Experience connection. What does deep spirituality feel like to you? Spirituality is impossible to define and difficult to describe. For me, it feels like connection. Connection to myself, to others around me, to the earth and all of creation. Connection to myself feels like deep peace, awareness, calm, authenticity. Connection to others feels like compassion, community, acceptance, and enduring love. Spirituality is not an idea, it is an experience. When I experience connection, dividing lines disappear. Inner conflict gives way to integrity. The line that separates my individuality from others fades, and we become one. I find connections with my deepest self in times of solitary practice and reflection. I find connection with others in community, often in worship. All the great spiritual traditions teach this. Today, the connection with creation, with the earth and the cosmos, may be the most difficult. We live in artificial, controlled environments that separate us from the natural world. More than humans in any other time, we live separated from the natural world, the world from which we emerged and that sustains our lives. We so very much need to experience our world. We need to let go of controlling our world and allow ourselves to become one with it. We find ourselves when we lose ourselves. May we connect. Really connect. When we do, it changes everything. And our closing hymn is 1023, Building Bridges, on the screen. And stand to sit as you are willing and able.
As we extinguish our chalice, these are our words. May we hear the melody of life and find ourselves singing harmony. May we be open to the dissonances in the song of the land and its people, that we might be part of the world's urging toward justice, peace, and love. May we feel in our bones the rhythms of life and the land and find ourselves dancing. So be it.
What day was the pride parade?
Saturday, the 19th.
You cut out one whole section of time.
I did?
Do you want to say it now?
What's the
I just wanted to say that next week, Pam Berman is doing the service on sort of social democracy and journalism. And it should be a real treat. Pam is a retired CBC journalist. I'm looking forward to hearing her speak.